We always think back to the greatness of Jaws and how big was it at the box office? Well, it broke records left and right, and we're going to break it down a little bit to kind of give a perspective. Now, according to statistics, uh, the movie has sold nearly 130 million admissions in Canada and the States. Now, put this in perspective, in Canada's 40 million people, States around 350. So technically, one in every four Americans, Canadians have paid a ticket to see Jaws or repeat viewing. So, which makes it the seventh greatest box office sensation of all time, inflation adjusted. Now, Jaws opened in 449 theaters with a record 7 million weekend in 1975. It grossed a record 21.116 million in the first 30 days, recouping its production costs. It grossed 100 million in its first 59 days from 954 playdates. In just 78 days, it overtook The Godfather as the highest grossing film at the North American box office, sailing past that picture's earnings of 86 million, and became the first film to earn 100 million in U.S. theatrical rentals. It spent 14 consecutive weeks as the number one film in the States. Its initial release ultimately brought in 123.1 million in rentals. Theatrical re-releases in 76 and the summer of 79 brought its total rentals to 133.4 million. Now, the film entered overseas release in December 1975, and its international business mirrored its domestic performance. It broke records in Singapore, New England, Japan, Spain, and New Mexico, and on January 11, 76, Jaws became the highest grossing film worldwide with rentals of 132 million, surpassing the 131 million earned by The Godfather. By the time of the third film in 83, Variety reported that it earned worldwide rentals of 270 million. Jaws was the highest grossing film of all time until Star Wars, which debuted in 77, 2 years later. Star Wars surpassed Jaws for a U.S. record 6 months after its release and set a new global record in 78. Across all its releases, Jaws has grossed 476.5 million worldwide, adjusted for inflation, and has earned almost $2 billion at 2011 prices, and is the second most successful franchise film after Star Wars. Including its 2002 reissue, it has grossed 265.8 million in the States and Canada, equivalent to 1.2 billion at 2020 prices, based on an estimated 128,078,800 tickets sold, making it the seventh highest grossing movie of all time, adjusted for ticket price inflation. In the United Kingdom, it's the seventh highest grossing film to release in 75, earning the equivalent of over 70 billion pounds sterling in 2009-10 currency, with admissions estimated at 6.2 million. Jaws has also sold 13 million tickets in Brazil, the second highest attendance ever in the country, behind Titanic. Now, as it stands in 2023, it still remains a big TV hit. On television, ABC aired it for the first time on November 4th, 79, right after its theatrical re-release. The first U.S. broadcast received a Nielsen rating of 39.1 and attracted 57% of the total audience, the second highest televised movie audience at the time behind Gone with the Wind, and the fourth highest rated. In the UK, 23 million people watched its inaugural broadcast in October 81, the second biggest TV audience ever for a feature film behind Live and Let Die. Of course, heavily edited for content. Now, 48 years ago when Jaws first came out, it was not only anticipated, but it was word of mouth, and a word of mouth and a strong advertising campaign basically was drawing a lot of people. Now, The Exorcist and The Godfather kind of broke through, the previous 3 years. But with Jaws, everybody went for repeat viewings because you would see them by themselves. It was a date movie. It was an older couple movie. It was a kids movie. Like, the kids loved this different stuff. People liked horror. People liked action. If you like Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw, Roy Scheider, was a lot for people to see. But it's not a perfect movie. Spielberg made some mistakes in the movie. For a lot of people, it was the best popcorn movie of the 1970s because if you didn't like science fiction, Jaws was always a thrill a minute because you never know. We didn't know until the end who was going to win, Bruce, the shark, or Roy Scheider and friends. So that's the latest vintage podcast on movies of the 1970s. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, and share.